open it up, you can see I already had it out here. So we don't need the box. Comes in this nice, cool bag, OutdoorMaster. This thing looks very premium. Very nice look. Good job on the bag, that's for sure. Has a little pull tabs right there that has the orange on it. I really like the colors of this thing too. So you got a little bit of padding. I think this padding was basically for, you know, travel or whatever. Here's the unit itself. Look how small this thing is. It has little suction pads on it. Look at that, that's cool. USB-C cable. It's got a DC charging, so that's got a barrel plug on it. And then down in here is your hose and your fittings. So we'll toss that. I'll put this stuff back in there. And this is a little set of instructions right here. You know what? We don't need instructions. We know how to use a pump. But one thing we will need, we got to get a knife and clip these things off because I don't think I can break them. Yeah, let me get a knife and cut these things up, get this thing set up, get the paddleboard, then we'll go from there. Okay, I got the paddleboard out. I cut my zip ties off right here. Let's go ahead and throw this out. And this is the OutdoorMaster's paddleboard. I really like this paddleboard. I've already used it once, folded it back up, put it back in its spot there. So what you're gonna do is fold out your board right here. This valve right here, take that off. Make sure that this is unlocked. If you guys can see it in the camera there, make sure that's unlocked. It's gonna be spring loaded. And you see this fitting right here. So I need to match that fitting up with the little pack of fittings that I have over there. So let's go through those now. Let's just dump them all out. They're tied together, so they're not gonna go anywhere. Looking at that, you can see that's not the fitting. This looks like the closest thing to it. Okay, so I'm gonna take this in, see where it says inflate right there. That just screws on there like that. This has an O-ring in there, so make sure you don't lose your O-ring out of that thing. And then take this fitting and screw it in just like this. And now that should just lock in there like that. We are set. So now that you have all that locked in there, what you're gonna do is hold the button down. You might not be able to see it in the camera there. So I've got, let's go, what's the PSI? 15. Take it down to 15 PSI and then just hit the power button. Now it's gonna start inflating. So that's the inflation there. I'm gonna let this go. This will start coming up. I still have half a battery, so I'm probably pretty good on this thing. I don't feel any air coming out from around here, but you can see the board. Look at the board is moving up. Well, it's definitely starting to look like a paddleboard now. Okay, see now I'm starting to get PSI ratings showing. So it had it at 0 for a while until it had pressure on the hose. That's why you're gonna see it at 0, but you can see that it's going up now. And this thing's just gonna go on its own. It's not inflated yet. This thing gets very like stiff when you know it's fully inflated. So we'll let this run a little more. Then it should just shut itself off. And then as long as you don't have that spring loaded, you just twist that out and it automatically shuts it off and you don't lose your air. And you can see to charge this thing, there's the barrel port there, USB port here, and I think that's a USB out, and there's a USB-C in. So to charge it, you're gonna go right there. Has a little cover on it. It's not even that loud, and look how small it is. Things like the size of my hand. That's a really cool looking little pump. I like the bag to it too. I'm just gonna set it right here on the bag. Okay, while that's inflating, let me show you how this right here works. So you see this one, see the two buttons right there, kind of just like a tent pole. Like that, pull that switch, and that goes, and it has your measurements right there. And they tighten this thing up. I need to tighten it a little bit. That feels pretty good. And always make sure this is the power face. This is called the non-power face. You want to push right here, and this grip is tilted like this for your hand to go in there like that. I know it sounds crazy me explaining this, but you can't believe the amount of people I see that hold it like that. The paddle's backwards. No, it goes just like that. Oh, that just kicked into overdrive. So you hold it right here like that, and there you go. That's how you do the paddle. And you can stick them down in the sand. Okay, so when it goes to this louder sound, you can see I'm already at 5 or 6 PSI. So this has this drop stitch in it, so it gets very hard to inflate. So that's why the pump kicked all the way up, and it's still holding really well. It's actually taking shape as an actual paddleboard now. Looks really good. This thing's working awesome. It just shut off at 15. I don't know if you can see in the camera there, 15 PSI, that was awesome. That took maybe 5 minutes. And I know a lot of people's like, oh, just use a pump. Well, a hand pump, I like saving my energy for the paddle, not sitting here on the bank pumping all day. So to take this thing off, let me show you how you're going to take it off. What you're going to do is just get right here like this. Hopefully I left that connect down. You see that? I lost 0 air coming out of there. And that's what I'm talking about as far as the connect. So let's go get this thing, lock it in. I don't hear any noise. This worked awesome, everybody. So yeah, and then to break this thing down, what I'm gonna do, just unscrew this right here, unscrew those, and we'll put it back in there. Okay, so made sure that it was turned off there. I'd still have half a battery, and I will deflate it later and show you how this thing deflates. Look how it goes back in this box. So its own little carrying case. That thing is awesome. Highly recommend this pump. I've used a lot of these electric pumps before, but I've never seen one this small, this compact, and with like nicely packaged. Some of them just have it open like that. So now I'm going to put this over here aside, and what I'm going to do is get out here and paddle around some. But first, we got to get our board ready. You see this big opening there? We need to put a fin on it. Remember, the fin goes along with these fins. Just slides in like that. You see that little slot there? I want to just push right into that little slot. Now it's locked into place. That fin ain't going anywhere. So I have my fin. That helps with tracking my 2 fins there. Let's get this thing on the water. Okay, here we go. Let's put the OutdoorMasters to the test. So I've got me a little gear bag here. Nice storage up here, but I still lock it in anyway. So I got my phone, my gear, and all that. Now to get on this thing, I didn't have any river shoes with me, so I got to use my shoes. There is glass out here, so I like to have some sort of footwear on. So to get on this thing, I'm just going to go out here like this. And here we go. It's been a while since I've been on a board. This feels great. Oh, the OutdoorMasters, it's pulling through. 3 handles, 3 fins on the bottom, handle in the front, handle in the back. You've got attachment clips here that you would put a seat or tighten down, maybe a cooler or something you could put on this thing. There's several mounts. For the price, you can't go wrong with one of these OutdoorMaster boards. Let me show you the back of it while I'm out here on the water. You can see that. You can see back there, handle back there, more attachment points, has gear labels, right, gear loops right there, gear loops right here. It seems to be a great beginner kind of intermediate board. I don't think it's an advanced speed demon by no means, but you could easily get out here. If I had a fishing rod, I'd start fishing along that tree right there. That looks good. Okay, now that I've used the paddleboard, I'm back here. What I'm going to do now is show you the deflate feature. So this thing actually has a deflator on it. You see right there where it says deflate? So this time I'm going to screw into the deflate. Now I'm going to start the deflation process. So now what it's going to do is deflate this thing down super small. That way I can fold it up easier. You see what it's doing now? Now it sucks it really tight. So you're wondering how you get it back in its bag so cleanly? Use the deflate feature. Look how tight this thing is. So now that it's deflated, check it out. Look at that. That thing's like a sheet of paper. And then once you roll it all up, it goes right back in the back. Everybody, this is one of the better pumps I've seen out there. Highly recommend this OutdoorMasters, SUP pump. See you on the next video.